Hello guys, due to some recent requests, today I would like to continue the series of Brazilian rhythms. In the previous one we explained the rhythm of baião, and today I'm going to go over the basics of samba. So basically there's one very important fundamental here that we cannot forget, and that is the syncopation. What is syncopation? In order to understand that, you have to see one beat as 4/16 notes. The syncopation is when you take the second or fourth 16th notes, those which are not straight eighth notes. The straight eighth notes are 1 and 3 as such, ta, 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 ta. And the syncopation is pa, 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 because I'm picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. I'm feeling the beat 1, but I'm singing out the second and fourth 16th note. It's important that you can do this mentally or with your voice before you even take the guitar, because just to check if you have understood that, because there's no point in trying to input another obstacle in front of you, which is the guitar, before you have internalized the basics of these concepts. So now passing this on to the guitar, we're going to hit the bass always on beat 1. Here I'm using a G major 6 chord, that's my tonic. Don't forget I'm using a 7-string guitar, so you can ignore that 7th string. This is my 6th string G. Here's the E, that's my 6th. The 3rd on B, and the 5th on D note. So now I'm going to put the bass on the downbeat. And I'm going to plug the strings here on the higher part on the syncopated 16th notes. That's the 2nd and 4th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first thing you need to be able to do in order to play Brazilian guitar. Now notice on the 3rd 16th, I am putting a little percussive note in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, which sort of mutes the ringing of that chord, right? And even also, another thing that I'm doing is after I play the chord, I actually release it so that I have a shorter duration of the note. It's more percussive if you can play it short and then you can play it long to create another mood, like such. Those are two different ways you can do, and they're both acceptable. It's nice to create different layers and moods in order to keep your listener's attention. So again, the concept of syncopation against the straight bass on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This syncopation happens both in the rhythmic and the melodic sphere of Brazilian music. You see this happening, the syncopation happening in the melodies all the time. For example, the melody of Corcovado or Quiet Nights. Do it that way, and all the notes there are being syncopated. So that's just an example. Now, once you have understood that concept, now we can go into the first samba clave. The first samba clave is just a basic figure. Starts with 8 notes, ta ta ta, and then on the 3rd and 4th beat, you have that same figure now syncopated. So you have this ta 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 ta. And you can also insert a pickup 8th note into the beginning of the sequence as such. Ta 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 ta. Now once you have been able to sing that, let's pass it on to the guitar. 3 and 4 and. Another tip based on that technique of making the chord either short or long can give you different ways to play this clave. As such, I can do long. Notice how the bass is always on the downbeat, independent from the clave. Or I can make it short. When you make it short and you are doing this kind of tempo, which is a little bit slow, you can actually play all 16th notes if you want. Leave some of them as ghost notes, and you actually play where the clave happens, as such. One more tip that's very valuable is you can emulate the instrument of the surdo, which is the low percussive drum on the guitar, by alternating beats 1 and 2 between the tonic and the 5th. Also 3 and 4. So you have this, in case of a C major 9th chord, I have tonic 3rd, major 7 and 9th. I'm going to alternate with the bass on G. So I have this. And one more tip is you can make the beat 1, where the tonic is, shorter, and the beat 2 longer and fatter, just bigger, because that's how the drum is played. It goes boom, 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 boom. So you're trying to do that on the guitar. Right? Like such. And then once you have mastered that clave, you can actually invert it and create a whole new type of samba based on the same clave. But instead of starting it straight, you're going to start it with a syncopation and then answer on a straight manner. And that is the call and answer aspect, which comes straight from Africa, which we find all over Brazilian music because of the heavy African influence. Now, here is the first clave once again, 3 and 4 and da da da. Now I'm going to invert it by starting the syncopation on the pickup 16th into the measure, like this. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. So I have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the clave has been inverted, and the beat 3 gets the downbeat. Here, 3 and 4. 1, 2, and 3 and. That 3 and was placed before on beat 1. So I just want to explain to you how it's exactly the same clave, just mirrored 2 beats later or earlier, however you want to think about it. So that's basically 2 samba styles. You can hear different recordings and you can hear how both of these claves are used. In some songs they decide to pick up on the syncopation, and some tunes they pick up on the straight 16th. There are 2 correct styles, and in fact there are many different variations on Brazilian rhythms. So I just wanted to go over the basics of the samba today. First by doing the syncopation, the bass like surdo, and finally the clave and its inversion. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this lesson. Please leave a comment here on what you would like to see in this channel that I may be able to do. And thanks guys for being here. Until next time, bye bye.